Well, it's the first outing on the Suzuki other than just round the block, so just trying out one or two things I've done to it. First thing I did was put a warning bleeper on the indicators, and that doesn't work. You can't hear it, so I've got to move the bleeper. And the other thing I've done is to refurbish the front calipers, which is a right palaver on this bike, because altogether up front there's 12 pistons. Yeah, I can't hear the indicator warning beeper at all. Okay, I have to extend that and move it. Yes, it took a bit of doing to completely refurbish the front calipers, because everything has to be so completely clean. Right, we'll just cruise along for the moment. As I say, it's the first time the bike's been out this year, amazingly, other than for a very short ride around the block to check the brakes. In actual fact, the brakes are still spongy, so I've bought a master cylinder kit, and I will have to do that within the next week or so, I think. I mean, the brakes work really well, but so much better than they did before. When I took the calipers off, it was the usual problem with dirt getting behind the dust seals. Nothing wrong with the pistons or even the piston seals, but obviously you replace everything. And I found 3 of the 12 pistons stuck. So obviously it needed doing. The brakes were holding on and not working very well. But at the moment the brakes are working beautifully, but they are a little bit spongy, and I'm confident it's not air in the system, because I used a vacuum to bleed it, a vacuum pump. So I'm sure the master cylinder is letting by, and as I say, I've got the kit, and I'll be looking into doing that sometime this week. Well, she's cruising along nicely. We're only doing about 60, following a truck. 3,000 revs in top. Just making sure we are in top. And we are. Actually, it's quite a lot of revs, isn't it, for 60? Just over 3,000. But since it'll rev to 11,000 before it goes into the red band, that's sort of well above 180, isn't it? So, assuming it revs out, which I've never tried and probably never will. Well, I never will. The nice thing about the power is just having the torque. You know, I'm in 6th gear, I won't need to change gear. I'll never take this lorry now in 6th gear. And there we go. That's 6th gear, so we're up to 75 in 1 second in 6th. Anyway, we cruise along. I'll increase the speed a bit later as the bike has a chance to warm thoroughly. We're not that far from where I live. Oh, I don't know, though, perhaps several miles. It should. It says it's warm anyway, the gauge. I've changed the oil and filter. Done a few other little jobs over the lockdown period, but nothing much. It took me 3 or 4 days to do the calipers. You have to be so absolutely sure that the calipers themselves are spotlessly clean. When you take it into a garage, I was talking to a friend of mine who owns the local garage, a motorcycle garage, and he said they're expected to turn these things round in a day because people expect it. They wheel their bikes in for a refurb. They expect to pick it up that evening. We both agreed that to get the calipers absolutely spotlessly clean, it is quite a long process. And then of course you have to check the pistons for scoring, and obviously the caliper bodies for scoring, and very carefully clean out the grooves for the rubber seals. So it's a long business. Winding up a little bit now. Actually, the speedo on this bike is way optimistic. It's 10% out. You know, you think you're going faster, just knock 10% off and you're somewhere near reality. So we're indicating 80. We're doing about 72 in actuality. I haven't got my sat nav on at the moment, but if you check it with GPS on a flat surface like this one, it's a good 10% out. Which is probably why everyone thinks these things do 200 miles per hour when they're actually limited to 187. I've heard people say, oh, I've wound it right up and it does this and it does that. No, it doesn't. Okay, well I can hear the camera cable to the microphone bashing against my helmet, so I hope the microphone is working okay. Have to check that out. Anyway, we're cruising up the M5. Everything looks very green. Steady 4,000 revs, which is about 70. Actually, I'm wondering whether the indicator buzzer would ever be audible at motorway speeds with the wind blast. I'll have to check it out at ordinary speeds just to see. Either that or I need a very much louder buzzer. Just noticed that I haven't got my twin LED spots on, which I've just done. Very important, I think, on motorways to have plenty of lighting on a motorbike. Like that guy. Yep, cruising along, sticking at 4,000 revs. That's just over 17.